There's no doubt that Storm Éowyn caused devastation to power and communication networks throughout the country, and like everyone has outlined here, as well as the financial loss caused through damage, including the loss of 4.1 million cubic tonnes of timber or 11,750 hectares of forestry. Other senators have spoken on this, and I will as well, about looking for redress for forest owners, and I've submitted this as a commensurate matter for next week. And I suppose this is in Leitrim and in my area, that it can be a direct result from the overforestation of a monoculture of citrus spruce. But I would like to focus today on a different type of loss and damage which may take as long or be as difficult to restore as any amount of forestry. This is the damage that cannot be seen. I'm talking about the damage that has been done to the relationship between the citizen and the state. The loss of faith that many people in the West and North West have experienced due to the feelings of being neglected and virtually ignored by the state, and the anger that they feel as this has been repeated across many spheres. We all accept that this storm was unprecedented in this manner, but while many people in urban centres had power and communications rapidly restored, for rural communities across the country the suffering seemed to go on and on and on. I'm thinking about the communities such as Giva and Highwood in rural County Sligo, many of which were without power for 2 weeks, having only just recovered from Storm Éowyn last December. The Sligo Champion reported on the case of an elderly couple, Seamus and May, who had resorted to living in the kitchen, huddled together around their old solid fuel range, and who were lighting this space through their tractor, which was left running outside and shining through the kitchen window. That is not on. That is not okay. I'm thinking about people who were given humanitarian relief forms by local county councillors who admitted, as they handed out the forms, that nobody knew what could and couldn't be claimed for. And I know, speaking to other Shannon as well, that there was no consistency about this, that there was different rules for different counties. It was a shambles, in my opinion, the response. Community organisations and community-minded individuals stepped up, and without them, where would he have been? A local hotel, for example the Coach Hotel in Ballymote in Sligo, was one of the first to throw open its doors for free use as a warm, dry place where people could come to work, charge their devices, to shower or to just relax and have a cup of tea. A similar example of community services was seen by GA groups and sports clubs right throughout the country and through the region. Community organisations and individuals cannot fill the void left by a lack of governmental response. They don't have the resources or the responsibility, and citizens know that. People keep on asking, where is the leadership when we needed it? I know that ministers felt that they were better working in the departments, and they may be technically being correct. But while the Dáil remained in recess, citizens in Sligo, Leitrim and Donegal wanted to see their leaders on the ground, wanted to know what their needs had been acknowledged and that their concerns had been addressed. Instead of having an attitude of having done all that we can persist. The new Minister for Forestry, who was criticised by a local county councillor on local radio for being conspicuous by his absence, instead of coming to see firsthand what the damage was done, as some members of the community were 21 days without power. Minister Healy-Rae responded only last week to Ocean FM on our local radio by acknowledging that there were some shortcomings, but by not acknowledging the shortcomings, but by in fact attacking, making a direct response back to the local rep, saying, I won't accept any criticisms whatsoever from this certain county councillor or from anyone else. It is clear to anyone whose eyes and ears on the ground that the government response was not as good as it should have been. The West, and I think in my opinion, the West and the North West were again treated with contempt, and that we were given crumbs from the table. Water supplies, for one thing, and I know every person that has spoken it said should never have been lost. Community generators could have been stockpiled for distribution to areas affected for prolonged periods. And this isn't been wise, I suppose, after the event. Dr. Tara Shine has been warning us to get prepared since 2011. We can see this is climate action or climate catastrophe in action. We've been warned since 2011, Storm Ophelia in 2017, Storm Éowyn in 2020, and Storm Dara at the end of last year were all warnings that we needed to get our house in order so we can build resilience against the likelihood of more storms as climate change continues and indeed accelerates. An essential part of that resilience is that people need to have faith in that we will learn from our mistakes and put plans in place to make things better the next time. We need to be able to rely on the authorities, and members of the government and figures in authorities need to know when there are failings and to know how to put those failings right. Saying sorry and trying to do best time, I'm trying to say that we will be able to do things better the next time are essential components of trying to repair damaged relationships, and I think some ministers could well learn from remembering that. Or Margaret.